If like me you enjoy stories with overpowered protagonists and that you enjoyed a show like One Punch Man, then this manga is for you. Mashle. Mashle is a story that has an overpowered protagonist and that focuses on magic and humor. This story is also capable of bringing some tension within a story and that makes it very enjoyable. The premise of Mashle is about someone who can't use magic in a world that is so linchpin on it that if you can't use magic there then you are going to get killed. But Mash the protagonist don't use magic, and due to some events he ends up being enrolled in a magic school in which all the students there know how to use magic, but no one in this school knows that he is not a magic user because at the end of the day he is capable of replicating all the different techniques that the magic users are capable of using, like flying with a broom. You might be wondering how he does that, and it is basically due to the superhuman ability that he developed while doing bodybuilding just like Saitama, and this ability makes him capable of doing crazy things and thus he can pass for a magic user. Within the school, since non-magic users are forbidden, he pretends to be a magic user and he always has this emotionless face all the time and somewhat Saitama vibes. Mash is a child, and compared to Saitama, who is not noticed and recognized for his power, Mash is very popular and known to be among the most powerful students in the school, and it is very hilarious to see the faces of his classmates when he uses a technique because it is nothing as what they would expect. For example, if you take the broom scene where he is asked to fly with a broom, what he does is that he throws a broom so fast and he jumps on it, making him appear to be flying. There are a lot of scenes like that that makes the story of Mashle very interesting, and I know a lot of people might be criticizing it to be some kind of cliche and that it uses some tropes of the shonen demographic, but I think it is not something new because it is something that is very common, especially with the weekly shonen jump magazine where a lot of series take something that have worked on a popular series and try to build up their own story with it. It is not something bad because so far as they do it correctly, the series will be enjoyable, and that's what Mashle does, using this comedy sense to kind of portray its series and what it is trying to tell. Even now that it is kind of entering a more serious arc, we still have that comedy, and that doesn't try to kind of destroy the story or the build up of the seriousness of the series because the series knows where it is going and how to place these gimmick moments within the fights. Added to this, the manga is still setting up and it is still exploring its magical part, especially in the recent chapters, and what I do expect is that they will use this aspect of the series to kind of create some depth within the narrative, making it somewhat different or even better than what One Punch Man did. Also, with the characters, we are still to experience their growth, especially with the side characters, because so far as the story has gone, we have only been given their personality and some growth and attachment, but we are still to see their evolution. Concerning its art, it is decent, it has good visual appeal, the character design are well drawn, and it is true that the manga doesn't have yet the S tier level art like that of One Punch Man, but there are some panels that are easy A class tier and maybe later on they could be redrawn. I would really enjoy some panels to be redrawn to make them look better. And one thing that I can say about this manga is that it is a decent read. Its comedy is very obvious most of the time. Its narrative still has to improve, and if we look at the other series that are currently rising in Shonen Jump, that is Kaiju number 8 and Undead Unlock, for me it is the easy second best series, with Kaiju being the first obviously. It has a lot of potential to it, and in the previous 3 to 4 chapters we have been introduced in a new turn or a new path. The story is taken and with it a little bit more of development. For me, Mashle is an anime, and that is because if we look at what some other series are doing like Chainsaw Man and Jujutsu Kaisen, we have Chainsaw Man that is getting its anime very soon. JJK already has one, and I'm sure the moment it gets an anime it will jump and make a huge blow up in the mainstream. So I highly recommend this manga. If you haven't read it yet, it is a must. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on the bell notification to get notified each time I make a video. I plan on making some chapter reviews on Mashle, so make sure to stick around, and as always, moving forward, this was Mr. Matt. Don't get cooked and stay off the hook. Goodbye.